Welcome to the No Other Option podcast, where the only option is success. Today, with us, we have Michael Raymond of Raymond Representation.
What's up, brother?
Michael and I actually went to law school together. And this man's out here doing some dope shit in the agency world, specifically in the NIL, name, image, and likeness, which wasn't even really a thing when we were in law school, was it?
No, not the first couple of years. Maybe the last year it was. It was supposed to be like 2025, and then they moved it to 2023, which would have been this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Heitner and other lawyers and people in the government were like, no, let's just push it for July 2021 and get it done. And Florida, became the first one to do it, and California, etc. So it was rushed, but now we're here, 2 years in. So.
Yeah, so I mean, you want to start with, what really motivated you to, first of all, go to law school, and then second of all, start an agency while you were in law school?
Yeah, so first of all, I like that professional voice that you had. I never heard that in law school before, so that was interesting to hear. But yeah, I always wanted to go to law school. Actually, It's funny. I wanted to be a lawyer, and now I don't want to be a lawyer whatsoever. So it's kind of ironic, but I wanted to go to law school, since I was in middle school. I kind of always knew, I wanted to be an agent as well. I always wanted to work with athletes and kind of be in the sport and entertainment space. I didn't really know what it meant or entailed, like most people, when you want to be something, you don't really know until you get into it. And, when I got to high school, I was playing a lot of basketball. Started kind of learning about the business, watching the TV shows, the movies, etc. Fast forward to UCF, I go to college. I go through the sport business program there, the economics program. I find myself a phenomenal mentor, Scott Buckstein, who I always shout out pretty much in every podcast that I do. But, he kind of put me under his wing. He knew the agent business in and out. His brother's actually a GM in the NBA, Phoenix Suns. His brother was an agent for like 10 years and, kind of just humbled me real quick. And our plan from the beginning was, let's go to law school. Law school is a great way to get started in the space. You don't need to go to law school to be an agent whatsoever. So I just want to make that clear. You don't need to. But I wanted to, and I knew that it would be the right path for me. And I did everything I can to get into Miami. So, fast forward about 10 internships in at UCF, doing everything that you can probably in the sport business space, whether it was marketing, ticket sales, fan experience, legal, whatever. I quickly realized I didn't want to work in sport business. I was like, all right, let's go become a lawyer and then, try to become an agent. That was always the plan. And, fast forward to law school, finally get in after 4 LSATs, a terrible test taker. That was one of the worst experiences of my life, that 2 years of trying to get into school. But wanted to go to Miami. Miami's my hometown. My parents went to Miami undergrad. And I grew up in Broward County. So I wanted to be back home. And 2 years into law school, as you know, first year's is a bitch. You're working all day, you're studying all day, you really can't do anything. Second year goes in, COVID hits us. Every single internship, every single job opportunity for anybody.
Bro, that was a hell of a time.
Yeah, so we had a pretty unique law school experience. We weren't even on campus half the time we were there. My goal was always to work for a big agency. My goal was never to start my own agency while I was in law school. I always wanted to kind of take the more traditional route, which would go work for, a big agency, Wasserman, CAA, whatever, get my experience, kiss ass for 5-6 years. And then I knew that after that, I'd be able to kill in the space. But COVID killed all those opportunities. So basically I was like, you know what? I got, a lot of friends that played basketball that are playing overseas, some guys in the G League, things like that. I'm going to see what I could do for these guys now. And, they were all encouraging me. So, shout out to them, the Aubrey Dawkinses, the Justin Grays, Tacos, those boys that I went to UCF with, all encouraged me, to kind of jump into the space, see what I could do. And, that's kind of how it all started, really. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, who ultimately ended up being your first client?
My first client was actually Justin Gray at a Texas Tech. And then I started working with Aubrey Dawkins. I was doing some marketing stuff for him, some camps in the summertime, charitable events, things like that. And I didn't even have my agent license yet. I actually took my test while I was in law school. I believe it was my second year of law school, and got certified as a FIBA agent, MBA agent, and started signing my first couple of clients. And then it was pretty cool. My first year as an agent, we had three guys in summer league. It was Emmett Williams, Aubrey Dawkins, and Fred Sims Jr.
I remember
And
that you
my
flew out.
yeah,
I
flew out
remember.
there first summer league, kind of got a taste of how it was. Those guys ended up going. Emmett went back to the G League for the Clippers. Aubrey went, play overseas, and Fred went to go play overseas. Um, and I quickly learned about the basketball business and how much of a of a bitch it could be, to be an agent in that space. So yeah, that's kind of how Raymond Rep started, and now it's completely different than that original starting goal and point that I was at. So yeah.
Um, I mean, I know that it's grown drastically and that you've brought in talent to help, you know, with you being the CEO and obviously being the face of of the um the brand. But how have you been able to bring in consistently good talent to help you with your agency? That makes
Well,
sense.
we completely shifted the business model. So traditional basketball agencies, in my opinion, are dying out real quick. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a massive shift. Um, the big agencies will always be around. They got so many different divisions and departments, things that they're doing. And what most people don't understand is that they make a lot of their money on the sponsorship and the marketing side. They're doing stadium sponsorship deals, they're doing jersey sponsorship deals, and then their players, like Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, LeBron, they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing money, and they're making a much larger percentage than an agent would make, which is 3 to 4% of an NBA contract or 10% of a FIBA contract. So I was like, what are we doing? We need to get into the marketing space. And I got really
Okay.
excited about it when I started working with my first influencer, which was Clifford Taylor. And to be clear, most of our influencers are all athlete based. So they either played sports when they were in college, they either played in the professional leagues, and then they had a big TikTok, YouTube, Instagram presence as well, and really showcased their personality. So we started working with Clifford Taylor, AJ Green, Lolo Fitzmaurice, some of these influencers, and I got a little bit of a taste of what that world could be. And I quickly realized about 5, 6 months in, this is where we need to grow. This is it right here. Brands are spending billions of dollars to work with non-pro athletes. They're spending a lot of money. There's a lot of opportunities there. And fast forward working with Clifford for like 2 or 3 months, we had even, and this was at the time, small deals. I'm talking like $1,000, $2,000 deals, whatever it was. With Gatorade, Ticketmaster, Wilson, and I was like Gatorade, Nike, Wilson, like they're spending money to work with like a random ass like YouTuber, TikToker, and I didn't know about any of this stuff. And I'm like, and we get 20% of these deals. Like, what's going on here? So like, I got so excited and just started to like really learn everything I can about that space. Fast forward a year, NIL becomes a thing. And I'm like, oh shit. Now every college athlete in the country could basically be an influencer and do the same exact thing. So fast forward 3 years later, we have 30 different athletes, female, male, doesn't matter what sport you're in. But our goal was, who are the content creators? Who has the personality, who has the social media, who's not afraid to speak in front of a camera. And that's why, most of our clients have 6, 7 figure, social media followings. They always are posting videos and content all the time. And not to say that we completely got out of the basketball space, we still represent pro basketball players, but 95% of our business right now is being done on the marketing side.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never even thought about it that way. I mean, I've learned, I guess, secondhand by like monitoring what's been going on with Raymond Representation. OG fan, by the way. Just want to put that out there. OG
We used to
supporter.
talk about it. in
Yeah,
class.
yeah, we would talk about it before it became like an actual thing, I believe. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure. Sure.
and God, I hate law school. Anyway, uh, yeah,
Same here.
I didn't. I've never thought about it from the perspective of this, but you kind of just regardless of the sport, you're going to have fans of the players, and they're going to want to see what those players are doing day to day. So if you take somebody who's you know a volleyball player and they have a great personality, you put them on TikTok, that's money, right? I mean, that's got to be easy money.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we quickly learned, and I think you'll start to see this a lot more in the NIL space, is look at the Olivia Dunns, Cavender twins, Paige Buckers, Angel Reese. The female athletes are the stars of the show. And that's why we have about 15 incredible female athletes now. Doesn't matter what sport they play. We have hoopers, of course. I mean, I got some stud hoopers. I got two girls that are probably going to go top 15 in the first round of WNBA draft next year. Um, but the social media female athletes are the queens of the queens of the show. And we're going to continue to sign female athletes. All the brands are asking us on a daily basis what female athletes that we have. Let's just be real. They're better at social media. They're better at showcasing their personalities. And, they just care a little bit more because they don't have the NFL. They don't have the NBA, like these hoopers and football guys get. And, the football and basketball stars are getting so much money from the collectives and the schools and those deals. It's like they don't really care about a small chance deal or a hey dude campaign, or a liquid death campaign, like I'm drinking, the water. So it's a lot different, and I think we quickly learned that with Trinity Thomas, with Emily Cole, with Mia Mastro, Hannah White. I started to see, okay, these girls can make 6, 7 figures in marketing money. We need to continue to sign, star female athletes. So that's kind of where we pivoted a little bit. But of course, still signing the hoopers like Ashton Hardaway at Memphis, Penny Sun. We work with Jesse Edwards at West Virginia. We got some hoopers for sure, but the stars are the females.
Yeah, there's definitely some diversity. I mean, of the two that I personally follow on Instagram, Ashton Hardaway, and then Emily Cole. Emily Cole, follow me back anytime. Look, I'm in South Carolina. You're at Duke. What's good? No, but I'm just
She's a
saying.
she's a straight gangster, and she opened up our eyes to what it could be. I mean, she's going to make easily. She's already made easily 6 figures plus. She's worked with every brand that you could think of, and she's not an Olympic athlete or anything like anything crazy. She's a great athlete. Nothing against her, but she's not going to be on the USA Olympic team. And she's just an unbelievable person. So her sister is a country music star. If you guys don't know that either, her sister
Didn't
Julia
know that.
Cole. We actually work with her too, and she kills it. So.
So do y'all handle talent outside of sports? Complete like, or is it just I don't know? Walk me through the process. I guess. Like,
Well,
what would it
we
take
like
for it to
we
be?
like we like to say that we could represent anybody that revolves around the sport and entertainment space. For example, Julia Cole, her sister is a country music singer, but was a former athlete. Is very
Okay.
into health and fitness, and she's big on social media, TikTok, Instagram, etc. So, excuse me, sorry, this seltzer water is getting to me. But
You
she
good,
was a
bro?
good example of somebody that we could kind of like dabble into and see how it would work. But I would say most of our influencers are sport based. It could be a workout fitness influencer. It could be what we really want to get into is YouTube gaming. Is I would love to find like a streamer, a gamer that has 1 million plus subscribers, somebody that's like very very interesting and does a good job on that end. Um, and yeah, we're open. I mean, we've worked with brands before as well. We've represented brands. We're partnered up right now with USA Flag Football, which is the biggest flag football company in the entire country. They run 12 to 15 events every year with 20,000 plus people. So we're kind of like their sponsorship arm. I don't know if you saw last year, we worked very closely with Juju Smith-Schuster, who's the homeboy.
That's right.
We did
Yeah.
we did a Super Bowl partnership with his esports company, Team Diverge, which a couple of my clients are part of. That's why we kind of got looped into that. And that was really cool. We went out to the Super Bowl. Eagles played in it, so obviously, I was talking a lot of shit. Dream come true. Um, they unfortunately lost, but it was fun. And yeah, so we work with brands. We've done a full budget campaign with Rain Energy. 16 of our athletes, six-figure budget, and we did that for 6 months. So we're not limited to just athletes, but we don't want to start representing models and just random people that don't really fit our vision and what our mission is.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a confident guy, and you've been confident since the day that I met you. Uh, I just remembered
Hope that's good.
actually the day that you and I walked out of you, and honestly I can't remember his name, and I feel horrible for not remembering his name. But us three, we just walked out of orientation. We got in your car, and you drove me to my car on the other side of campus. Do you remember that? That's how we
Yeah, I
met.
do. Was that with Gabriel?
Yeah, it was Gabriel. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, Gabriel, bro. I know you. I just forgot. I'm sorry.
he actually just moved right next to me in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm gonna
Oh,
see him
word.
later today. Yeah,
Oh,
I still talk to him all the time.
tell myself what's up. I haven't
I
seen him
will.
in like 3 or 4 years. Um, but yeah, I mean, you've always been a confident guy. Let me go back to that. Yeah, you've always been a confident guy. So, but did you see the brand growing as quickly as it has, like when you first started?
Well, I'll say this. I've always been pretty, like you said, confident in myself. I wasn't afraid to get into it. I always say this: if you put me in the room, I could close anybody. I believe that for sure. I know what my skill sets are. I know what they're not. I've been really really blessed to kind of surround myself with a good team, and I feel like that's what's really expedited our success. Giving people opportunities to excel in shit that I'm not good at, and that's helped a lot. Um, I tell them all the time. I know that I'm the one that is the best recruiter here. I'm the salesman. I could close somebody. Put me in the room, I'll get it done. Um, and some of them just can't do that. They're better at accounting, they're better at bookkeeping, they're better at finding talent, researching, etc. So I would say I've always been confident. I will say this. I think if we would have stayed directly in the basketball space alone, it would have been a lot harder to get to where we're at. I think that's a whole different business. It's a crazy world that you need a lot of money, you need a lot of connections and resources, and unfortunately, it's a very dirty game that a lot of these agencies plays. And I just didn't enjoy it, to be honest. I'm dealing with overseas guys now that I still have on the roster, and I hate it. It drives me nuts. I mean, talking to people in different countries, and they don't really care about your guys. It's on to the next, and you have to. Your guys are relying on you to take care of them. So, um, and there's just not a lot of money in it. Which is, let's just be honest, like you want to get paid for your work. So it's like for me to babysit a kid for 3 to 6 months and I'm making $1,000, it's not fun. So I really, I'm glad that we kind of shifted into the marketing NIL space. And I will say, when NIL became a thing, after the first like 2 months, I knew that we were going to rip it. I did. I really did. After we signed a couple of like really good, athletes, and I started to see a lot of deals coming in. I mean, we went from like 5 deals a month to like 20 plus deals a month. I was like, this business model is a fucking cheat code. I was like, it's just an unbelievable business model. I mean, it's very low upkeep, low cost, and just high revenue. Just deals coming in, not spending a lot of money. I was like, we can really build something special with this. And I knew most agencies weren't doing what I was doing. So that's what really, excited me the most. And it's been 2 years since I kind of realized that, and we've just been going since.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Troy has a lot of I don't want to say strong opinions, but opinions on NIL and questions about NIL.
Yeah. I mean,
Pros and
that's
cons
actually
to everything. Pros and
yeah.
cons to everything. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very pro, very, very pro. I mean, I've been very open about that's actually what my uh thesis is on for me to get my master's degree is literally on NIL. So I
awesome.
mean, it's definitely a big part. Since you've been working with it for so long, I mean, obviously you got in the background behind you right there, named name, image, and likeness is literally right there in the back for you.
That was a pretty cool moment. Was
Yeah,
that
can you tell
Sport
us
Business
about
Journal?
what is that moment? If you don't mind sharing with everybody.
Yeah, no. So Sport Business Journal picked, I think 12 sports agencies that have been able to really make an impact in the NIL space. And I was very surprised, but they picked us as one of them. And I didn't think at the time that we were going to be on a list with anybody like crazy. I was thinking like NIL, whatever. But it's a pretty cool list. I mean, Klutch is on there, Wasserman's on there, WME, big agencies are on there that
Rock
are worth
Nation,
billions of
right?
dollars. So, yeah, Rock Nation is on there. Athletes First, shout out David Magaleta and Andre Odom, the boys. Um, yeah, I mean, Gary V's agency's on there, so pretty cool to be on there for sure.
That's some pretty good people to be surrounded by.
That's good company,
Yeah,
and it's so
Yeah.
early in your
more
career,
to
man.
come.
It's crazy.
More to come, though. More to come.
So obviously we're still in like the early stages of NIL. It's kind of taking over the country. But what are some of the major challenges when dealing with NIL agreements and athletes?
Well, I think, like I said, pros and cons to everything, right? So, it depends on the athlete and who you're dealing with. When you're dealing with basketball and football players, there's a couple of concerns there. One is if they're really good, they're going to get a chunk load of money, to go play for the school or whatever it may be. So you get a lot of issues with that. Not to say that I don't want them to get paid. I want them to get paid, but they're not really able to build their brand or really care about doing, deals, things like that. And they lose a little bit of that passion to really want to use NIL for what it was meant to be, which is, to work with brands, build a community, connect with people, and use your name, image, and likeness to make money. And that's not using your name, image, and likeness. That's in my opinion, they should just transition to some kind of employment model and just pay these kids.
Right.
Not under like just pay them, so everyone knows what they're getting paid, whatever. Um, so that's the number one concern. I would say the other concern is that a lot of these basketball and football players, unfortunately, you know, don't want to showcase their personalities, which I get it. Some of them are hoopers, they're football players, they don't care about TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But then there's a false expectation of like, where's my money? Where are the brand deals? Why aren't you doing this for me? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, you're one of 100, other athletes that they can use. And it's like, if you don't even want to showcase a smile, like they could care less to work with you, So of course, the 5 or 10 first round guys are going to get those big brand deals with Adidas, Nike, whatever. But those will come anyways because they're stars in their sport. But what about the other 90%? So that's been an issue for us. That's why we really like to work with the female athletes because they're not scared to do those things. And not to say that's every football, basketball player. We have great guys that are showcasing their talent. Brevin Galloway at Clemson was an NIL star. He was hilarious. He made a lot of funny content. He killed it. Had worked with a lot of different brands, and he was a hooper too. So it's not everybody, but it's a large majority. And I would just say the last problem that we've had is, and this is a little bit of an arrogant thing to say, but I'm going to say it because I don't really care. I feel like a lot of people that have no business discussing NIL are acting like they're experts in the NIL space, and it drives me absolutely crazy. Let me be clear. Nobody is an expert in this space. I'm not an expert in this space. And we're doing millions of dollars in deals in this space. And I'm not an expert. You got guys that are lawyers or, old agents that don't even know what social media is, haven't even done an NIL deal, on panels or talking to the Senate. I saw the Senate is doing a thing this week about NIL, and there's not one athlete that's talking to the Senate. Yep. It's like the athletic director at a school or an old lawyer with an agency. Like, you guys don't even know like what it is. NIL is 95% social media deals. Yep. It's collectives and social media deals. That's it. It's one of two. So why is a 65-year-old old lawyer that doesn't even know what Instagram and TikTok is talking about how kids can make money and become entrepreneurial with NIL? So that's what's been driving me crazy. And I have a lot of those people reach out to me on a daily basis. Hey, can we talk to you? Hey, can we talk? It's like, no, like I'm not trying to talk to everybody and tell them my opinion because, you guys think you're experts in this space. Go ahead. So.
Yeah, that actually kind of bleeds to my next question. I'm glad that you brought it up because obviously the NCAA stance is pretty it's pretty obvious that they kind of have like a love-hate relationship with it. I mean, you saw how they kind of you know, took the time to say, "Oh, we'll do it this time," and then now we'll move it here because all these other states were like, well, "We're just gonna make them pay now." But do you think NIL will have any negative effects to college sports? You know, considering NCAA is just so conservative on their approach to it. Like, do you think it could lead to any major changes, made anything? Just
Yeah, I
in
mean,
your experience.
I wouldn't say. I mean, it could be negative if you put it in the eyes of other people, but I think the conferences will be affected for sure. I think the schools that have no money compared to the bigger schools will be affected. Um, do I think it will matter in the long run? No, because I think those kids were getting paid or some kind of lucrative,
Yeah.
inducement. Let's just be real. We all know that was happening for years. So, um, I think at the end of the day, the conferences might go away, and there might be only like 3 or 4 main conferences that all the schools go under. I think the conferences might get involved and start being a part of NIL, meaning like licensing deals, giving the schools more money, the players money, commercials, things like that. Um, so that could be a big change, and I think a lot of people agree with me. The SEC will be there.
Yep.
The ACC might be there, but like I'm talking about like the random conferences, like the American,
Yeah.
other ones that
Mountain
like people just
West,
like,
all
yeah,
that.
like UCF left for the Big 12. Like those schools are leaving. A lot of schools are leaving.
Yeah.
So that will be a major change. I think another major change will be, I think the schools and the coaches didn't want to get involved the first year or two with NIL. They were trying to like, okay, let the collectives do their thing. Let's be separate. But I think it needs to be the complete opposite. I think the
Right. I agree.
schools need to step up.
Yep.
They need to hire advisors. They need to hire NIL directors. They need to hire people that are going to help educate the kids, especially the ones that are getting paid a shit ton of money.
Yes.
Because most of these kids, some of them don't have families or parents to help them and educate them. They don't have people in their corner to help them. They don't have agents that want to work with them. So it's like they need people in their circle. So that's number one. And number two is, the schools are going to have to have, they're going to have the egos and put them aside to let agents work with their kids.
Yep.
Because the schools and the coaches, like, they hate agents. They're like, oh no, like you're working on my kid, like get the fuck away, like. But no, like you need our help. Like we're the ones that are handling the business for the student athlete. So I hope to see in the future more schools open. Like we've had weird conversations with people and like, just like gray conversations with schools and collectives and people like that are trying to like go behind our back and things like that. And it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you got like I think Colorado, they have their own little department for it too. Like I think Dion, he at
They need
practice.
it. They
Yeah.
need it.
I think at practice they have their practice jerseys have their Instagram tags on it. Like people are adapting to it because no one really cares about who number 12. Like they see number 12 Hunter, right? Now your average college football parent probably, oh, that's Travis Hunter. But if I have no idea who he is and I'm a car salesman or I own a car business and I see this kid out here making ridiculous plays, I'm like, well, I want him to do a commercial for me. How can I get in contact with him? It's just he's so forward thinking. And I think the NCAA needs to kind of get ahead of it because I actually heard something the other day because again I've been researching it going into my thing is the NIL might make the NCAA irrelevant. Like I think schools and conferences might outgrow the NCAA. Like NCAA might become non-existent in itself, which is crazy to think, but it's just because they're holding.
Well, they didn't step up. They didn't step up.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. They didn't do anything. They ran in the corner and they hid. And now everybody thought even after 2 years, maybe they would step up and do something. And they're still being laughed at because they don't do anything. Their leadership, is not good. And still to this day, the fact that there's no rules or changes is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that somebody couldn't come together and figure this out by now is an embarrassment to them, and they'll be probably gone by then because of it. So, I'm not the only negative that I see with NIL is the kids getting a huge lump sum of money. And it's not the money that's the problem. It's what are they doing with the money is the problem. And, that's an easy fix. That's every school hiring one or two more people, not for a crazy amount of money, whatever it is, and having an on-school campus advisor to help them. Doesn't have to be a financial advisor, just a competent person that knows, like an adult that knows how to, invest money, surround yourself with the right people, things like that, telling the kids what they could do and what opportunities they can have. That's all they need. And why wouldn't every school have a point of contact for a local brand to reach out to if they want to work with somebody? Like if I was a local car dealership, you think I could just DM Travis Hunter? No, he's not going to answer. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to see if they have an agent because I trust me, when I'm recruiting clients, I'm looking, do they have an agent? Are they working with somebody already? It's not easy to find that information out. Sometimes they don't have it public. So why wouldn't like a dealership, let's just say at like Ford in Colorado Boulder, why wouldn't they be able to email somebody at Colorado Boulder and say, hey, I would like to give Travis Hunter a free car? Like the fact that not every school in the country has a point of contact to help these kids get deals is ridiculous. It takes one person to just manage all that stuff.
I think that's a great point. And I mean, I think going back to like the people leaving to join bigger conferences in the future, being under the belief that there's only going to be like mega conferences, which I completely agree with. Do you think a lot of these schools are fleeing so that they can kind of cling to what's left of the NCAA before it collapses? Or do you think that that's a part of them trying to get aligned with bigger spaces to bring in more money and, I don't know, potentially NIL deals for their students? Like, what do you think about the gigantic migration that we have going on?
No, I mean, I think they're all thinking, how can we get more deals for our kids? I mean, at the end of the day, that's how they recruit, is bringing money in. I think one of the things that you'll see less of is the boosters, coming in and being 95% of the funding. Not to say that they're going to go away. I mean, people that want to give money to the school are going to give money to the school, but look at John Ruiz, like I'm not going to talk too much about the situation, but like, look what happened with him. He was Miami's biggest donor, funding probably 95% of the football team and basketball team. And now he's under like 20 different federal investigations and is probably not spending any money with the team and is probably not going to pay out half of the contracts that he already has, signed with the team. So, that's where the boosters come into trouble because these guys, your schools are relying on one or two big donors to pay. And what if the team is losing? What happens when they get sick of losing? Like if I was worth $1 billion and I'm giving $300,000-$400,000 to University of Miami and they can't win a goddamn bowl game, I'm like, I'm not giving them any more money. Like it obviously is not helping. Yeah. It's not helping. So like, why am I going to keep giving them money? The whole point was for them to win. So, I think what the schools need to do, and I think a lot of schools are starting to do this now, is they're starting to work with different agencies and marketing agencies. I think I saw WME just signed a collective to a deal, which they're going to help bring in sponsorships. Yep. So I think you'll start to see schools partnering with marketing companies to bring in major sponsors to help pay the kids. A great example is look at Louisville. They have the KFC Yum Center. It's like KFC can come in and do an NIL deal, with all the basketball student athletes there and pay them, 50 to 100 grand. And, that's a way better way to get them paid and actually do some endorsements with KFC, which is their biggest sponsor, Louisville, Kentucky. So I think that's going to be a big difference that you'll see in the next 5 to 10 years. And if I was University of Miami or this is a great example, UCF, right? I went to UCF, so I know that area. Like Disney World, ESPN, Wild World of Sports, I would be all over UCF. Every kid would be sponsored by fucking Universal.
Yeah.
Come to the park whenever you want. You're a student athlete at UCF. Here's a ticket for life plus $25,000. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really cost them anything either. I mean, nothing. You giving free passes?
Yeah,
costs nothing. And you say, listen, every student athlete at UCF gets a free pass, and they can bring 2 friends with them every single time. Think about it. They're spending money in the park anyways. They're eating food, they're eating drinks, they're going on fast pass rides, whatever it may be, buying clothes. And then if they want to give them 5-10 grand on top of it, give them 5-10 grand on top of it. They make so much money, it doesn't matter. Like, and I think what will be really interesting, but it's probably not going to happen because of the age. But I would love to see if sports betting is ever allowed with college students that are above 18 or 21 plus, because that would be a big money maker. We'll see, because influencers make a killing in the sports betting platforms. We've just signed 2 6-figure deals in the sports betting category. So like, I know most college students are not of age yet, but some of them are. Some of them are of age. If that will ever be legal.
That's an interesting question too. I was actually going to ask, yeah, I mean, what do you see next or foresee next in just within the NIL world or within sports? Because you came in, obviously, part of it being luck, part of it being like, because of the great timing.
Timing, yeah, it was definitely timing.
What do you think the next big thing is going to be with sports agencies? Like, what do you foresee coming about?
Well, there's a lot of answers to that. With NIL specifically, I think, like I said before, female athletes will run the space. I think all the major brands will work with one of 2 athletes. It will be female athletes that have, good social medias, and 2 will be the stars, quarterbacks, top 5, top 10 basketball players. I think all the other, smaller athletes that are doing some of these deals now won't be as active as they are right now, which is good and bad for us. It'll make us pivot to make sure that we're signing very high quality talent and high level talent, which is exactly what we want to do anyways. But we'll probably lose a little bit of those smaller deals that we do, the $1,000-$2,000 deals with a bunch of random, college athletes, which is okay. I'm fine with that. We'll pivot, we'll figure it out. But that's number one. I think number 2 with the agency side, like I said, I think the boutique agents, and what I mean by boutique, I got to get like a little bit more detailed, is I mean the basketball only or the football only, like the very like specialized agencies. And this is not the big agencies. I'm not talking like Klutch, Wasserman, like they do everything. I think they're going to be killed. I think they're already getting killed.
Yeah.
I think they're figuring out the only hope that they have is one of 2 things. Figure out NIL and hire somebody to help you with NIL if you're not a young kid. Like some of these boutique agencies, have older agents as their CEOs, things like that. And they hate NIL and social media. So you got to figure that part out. And if you don't hire somebody to do it, 2 is they better start getting a lot of money in their bank account to pay these kids to hopefully stay with them, which is what they do anyways, most of the time. So that's going to be a big change. I think the Wassermans, the big agencies will always be okay because they just got so much resources and so much connections and power that, if I was a big player, a quarterback, whatever it is, they're going to get big deals from those companies. The only thing is that they're not as active. They're not churning and burning. It's like for us, our athletes, if you're a big time kid, you're usually doing 4 or 5 deals a month. Those big agencies are only doing 1 or 2 deals every couple months for their guys because they just don't want to do it, and they just don't care enough to do it because they're not making their money off NIL deals. They're making their money off the kid going to the NFL and signing $100 million contract in 4 years.
Right.
So it's a totally different model than we have, and I think those will be a lot of the changes that you see. So, but as you could see, most people thought NIL wasn't going to be taken seriously by agencies, and they quickly woke up and said, "Fuck, we got to do this shit." And I know we're doing something right when some of our athletes are getting recruited by the big agencies as well as us, or trying to get poached by us, by the big agencies. I'm like, all right, that's a good thing. That means that we're going after the same talent as them.
Yeah.
So
that's really good.
Yeah.
My mind went blank. Troy.
What did just kind of go into it, man? What advice would you give to young athletes who are looking into these kind of opportunities? Since it's so fresh, it's so new.
Yeah, I mean, my number one thing of advice is figure out a way to understand social media. You don't have to go make TikTok dances and be an influencer by any means, but if you could just step up your social media game a little bit, it will help you so much. And that could be as easy. This is like a hidden gem that I say to all my clients, especially when I'm signing them, is become best friends with your photographer or your picture guy of your team. They post content every single week on like the Louisville basketball page or the basketball page, football page, whatever. Become best friends with that guy. Tell him, listen, I'm not a TikToker. I don't like taking pictures, but anytime you can get a dope picture of me or a video of me in the game, in practice, on campus, let's collaborate on those posts. Send me that content every week, because then you're not even having to do any work and you're getting content from it. That's their job. So just step up your social media game a little bit. Try to showcase your personality. Try to showcase some of the things that you enjoy doing. I know 90% of my guys are playing 2K all day. Going on dates with their girlfriends. Show that shit. Show it. Live stream on Twitch. Do whatever you want to do. Like that stuff helps a lot, because the brands unfortunately don't care about your basketball stats most of the time. If it's a Nike deal, if it's an Adidas deal, of course they understand because they work with professional athletes. But if Liquid Death is hitting me up, I'm saying it because it's in front of me, or, a coconut water company or a workout company, you think they know that you were an All-American or McDonald's an All-American, whatever, you're averaging 20 a game. They don't even watch that shit. They're like, how many Instagram followers does the guy have? What's his engagement look like? So it's like, that's what matters for most of these brands right now. So, that's probably the easiest thing of advice I could give them. And then the second thing would just be to surround themselves with the right people. There's going to be a lot of people that come in and try to take advantage or try to tell you what they think and just be careful, because the agent business is crazy and it's sold a lot of people. So once you start popping off, a lot of agents start reaching out to you. So make sure you surround yourself with good people and just go with your gut.
I think bouncing off of that too, I mean, you can look at Bronny James. Like, even when he was a high schooler, just using his influence that he already had, which came from his father, a little bit different, but just the influence that he had to stream to Twitch and then, receive all that money that he made from subscribers, etc., before he even turned 18. It's pretty remarkable. And then I'm sure he's going to continue that whenever he gets better with his heart condition. Prayers up for Bronny. But, you got to think that helps build your brand. And I think that kind of helps separate him from LeBron James a bit as well, too, is because it's like a lot of kids 100%. Know him as like, he's a 2K. He plays 2K. He's really good at the game. Yeah, he's got an abnormally deep voice. Oh, he's going to play at USC now.
He signed a phase too. Like he's done his own thing.
Yeah.
Like he made that gaming thing like his own thing. Like he signed to FaZe Clan. So
did you see the PlayStation? Did you see the PlayStation commercial that he did with his dad?
Might have seen it.
They did it. I guarantee you, PlayStation did the commercial with both of them because of Bronny James, not because of LeBron. Obviously, LeBron's LeBron. You want LeBron. I get it. But you think LeBron's buying PlayStations or like cares about gaming like that much? No, what they're doing is saying, okay, not only could we get the best player ever to fucking exist on the planet, but his son is going to be the next best player. And he loves gaming and he loves PlayStation. So let's get him now for the next 20 years. He's going to be the biggest advocate of PlayStation. So they put them on the commercial together and they're going to kill it. And Bronny's going to be the face of PlayStation probably for the next 10 years, especially if he pops off and continues to play at a high level. LeBron will be retired and not care, in about 5 years from now. So, it's like,
I think that's such an important thing too, is like, let's say Bronny doesn't pop off, right? Or let's say, God forbid, his heart condition does not allow him to continue playing. He's still got these sort of deals through NIL that are going to last him, and he's going to be able to make a career out of that on its own.
Yeah, so he's the highest. He's got the highest evaluation. I'm pretty sure I saw the other thing. I think he's at like 3.2 million.
Either him or Shador Sanders probably has the highest evaluation. I mean, Shador with Dion, and the fact that Dion likes to do those commercials with him and shit too. Like they're probably making so much money. I mean, I've seen this week alone Aflac. I've seen the almond commercial and KFC with all of them. I mean, they probably sweeped up like $25 million in the past month just on marketing deals. So
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
seriously, like, you have to imagine too, like, especially after this is gonna date the video, but last night's game, like with Colorado State,
Coming back,
that makes him
coming
even
back.
more of a superstar.
Oh,
You know, because it's like
That's why I
that's an
slept in.
all-time
By the
game.
way,
Hey,
I slept.
it's all
I
good.
slept in because I was up so late. I was up so late watching that game, and then I couldn't fall asleep after. And I was up till like 2 or 3 a.m. And it was just like, I'm not getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday now.
Yeah, the game
No way.
went on
was worth
until
It was worth it, dog.
2:30.
That was a great game.
It was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it for sure.
Well,
I usually like to get up early and get a workout in, but I couldn't today. So
No, dude. I mean, that's completely understandable. I mean, the game lived up to the college game day hype, which rarely happens. Unless it's like an Iron
Colorado
Bowl or
State,
something.
they came to play, bro. I mean,
They did. They had to with what their coach
they
was
came
saying.
to play. They were hitting those boys hard.
They were hitting it, man, and Colorado couldn't stop a crossing route to save their life. Jesus Christ. I've never seen someone get dotted up by a crossing route.
Their defense is going to be the fall of their season. They're gonna lose a couple of good games, but I mean, I think what he's done already is incredible. And to say that they can't get to the playoff at some point in the next like 2 to 3 years, I think they can.
Yeah,
I mean I don't know. Is Sanders is the quarterback? Does he have another year, or is this?
He has another year. He's a junior.
He's a junior. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why you would go pro immediately. I mean,
I wouldn't go pro unless you're top 10. I mean, he could be top 5 though. So.
Well, look at the quarterback class this year, though. Too. There's like 15 good quarterbacks. It's crazy.
Drake May.
I'm taking him.
Absolutely.
His dad, Deion Sanders, bro. I'm taking him.
Yeah. He's averaging 450 passing yards per game, and he's a Sanders. Hey, it's worth it.
You know what I'm doing? Honestly, whatever team got 2 first-round picks, I'm taking him, and then I'm taking his brother late in the first round, 100%.
Shiloh?
I don't care. Yeah, I'm taking both of them.
Nice pick 6 last night too.
He did,
bro. If your franchise quarterback has a brother that's also pretty good, I'm taking both of them and putting them on the same exact team, and they're gonna be best friends, and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously, talking about that game, hopefully Travis Hunter comes back healthy very soon. I know he's going to be out a few weeks.
He's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
We don't condone the late hits like that,
That was coached, man. I have a strong feeling about that. I think once me and you, we've all grown around football, and me and you played it, Joel, and I don't know if you but like it's when you play it, those type of penalties, like that's coached or taught, because when they got him, he would just be like so nonchalant on the sideline. Like I remember I got an unnecessary roughness call in high school because I drove a kid 10 yards down the field and shoved his head into the dirt because he said something about my mom, right? So like literally drove him down the field and shoved his head into the dirt, unnecessary roughness. And my coach lit into me, and I told him exactly what he said. He said, "I don't care. You cost your team. And he there was like 6 or 7 personal foul calls. He had no emotion on the sideline. And it's college. It's college game day. They're on ESPN. Like this is a big stage.
Yeah, it's just who he is.
That's coached. And it's just like at some point, it's like, come on,
bro. Not right. No, it's not right. Yeah. I mean, Travis,
it's okay to hit hard, but come on, dog.
No, that play on Travis was bullshit.
Yeah,
and now he's gonna miss. Now he's gonna miss like 2 good games too. Like they're playing USC, I think, and they're playing another team that's good. I forgot who it was. Yeah, like Oregon and USC, and we don't get to see the best player in the country play on the field.
Yeah, it sucks. Have you ever been teed up before, Michael?
What's teed up?
Like
football?
Got a technical foul. To lead into that, this man played basketball.
Yeah. Oh my God.
For what? What was 100%. your worst technical for? What'd you do?
What's funny is that it was actually like not playing in like college or middle school or high school. It was like playing in my fraternity league. They kicked me out of the gym. The referees at UCF actually.
For what? What'd you do?
Because those games used to get heated versus other fraternities, and I was in a fraternity for like a year and a half. And
I know what you mean. Yeah.
We used to just
We
talk
do.
mad shit. We used
We
to
do.
talk mad shit. And I remember this one kid just like wouldn't stop chirping. And like, I'm a big boy. So like they like to hit me and, elbow me and stuff like that. So like he just got me in the wrong place. And I think I just went off like yelling and screaming, pushing him on the ground and shit. And then they kicked me out. I couldn't play for the rest of the season.
Bro,
I,
that's
I, I have a big
crazy.
mouth. I have a big mouth for sure. I mean, even when I'm not playing good, I have a bigger mouth when I'm not playing good because
Well,
it's just fun. Then I just make it funny at that point.
well, that's somewhere where like y'all both know me. I'm a pretty chill out guy. I don't really care about much. But if I get on a basketball court and people are just talking shit to me, man, I lose my temper.
I can't even see you being mad, bro.
Bro, I got teed up in
I've seen
fraternity
it. Yeah, I was about to say I've seen
intramural
it.
league. Yeah,
That's funny.
I threw a
That's
motherfucker
funny.
on the ground one time.
He did.
Um,
That shit was funny.
but I
That's
mean,
funny.
Troy deemed me Joel Curry, so I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day,
That
me
was
me and Troy were
I
in Lambda
love.
Chi Alpha together.
Okay. My favorite thing to do is when you're having a bad game, you're talking shit the whole time, and then you're just like, I'm gonna hit the game winner. Just watch. Like I fucking missed every shot the whole game, but I'm gonna end the game. And then you hit that shit. There's no better moment. I mean, there was one game where I haven't played in like 3 or 4 months. I was missing like layups and shit. I was like playing like a bum, and I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I was gonna hit like a crazy Curry shot to just like end the game. And I remember even my own teammates were so pissed off because I shot this 1 3 that was like a little bit further than I should have shot it. And I looked right at him and I was like, bank. And the shit goes in right off the bank. We win the game. It was like 12-10 or whatever. And I was talking shit the whole fucking time. I was like, I'm so fucking bad that I just whooped that ass. Like I was just talking so much shit. It was
Yeah.
fun.
The
I
worst thing
miss those
about those
days.
is the crowds, dude. The people that can't even one make their like fraternity team or like you know what I mean, like just the other fraternity brothers that are sitting on the benches watching, just talking
Facts.
shit from the sideline, and
Facts.
the girls that are like groupies basically
Facts.
just sitting there and they just won't shut up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
one thing
know.
to be
I
on the
know.
court and talking shit, but like when you're not even on the court, it's like, bro, it's intramural. You couldn't even make it on this court.
It was like
Yeah.
Sig Up. That Sig Up game I cooked. I don't even care. I think we lost by like I think we lost by like 15. But I literally cooked because they were just talking so much. Like I think I had like 18 points. Like I was
Yeah,
just cooking. Like it
I had
was
a
like
game like that once. We played this team that actually ended up winning the championship, like the intramural playoff championship, and they had two ex UCF like players on the team. So it was
yep.
literally like playing. It was like playing like a real Division One like team. It wasn't even fair. Their fucking guard was like 6'5". I was like, bro, come on. And I'm lazy. Like I don't play defense like that no more. Like I don't got that energy anymore. Um, so we played them. We lost by like 20, but I was cooking. I had like 20 points in that game
Yeah.
still. And I didn't even care. I left. I was like, yo, I can still hoop. I don't care
Yeah.
what any of y'all said.
It
Yeah.
was just like so they were just so arrogant, man. That shit was pissing me
I
off. I
haven't
was like,
hooped.
bro.
I haven't played. I got to hoop now. I haven't hooped in a long time. I'm trying to play. I got to play.
Man, well, you got to come over to South Carolina. You can play with me and Troy. But
I like South Carolina, but I don't see myself coming over there anytime soon. I'm sorry.
I'll probably be down in Florida before you're over here.
It looks like it's about to. It looks like it's about to pour outside right now. That's why I was looking outside.
You should go play basketball in it.
Yeah, dedication.
But
But man, I wanna ask you one more question, just real quick. So other
Yeah.
than the big plaque you got behind you, because obviously that's a huge achievement. What's been your favorite moment so far, or some of the favorite people you've met just in this short amount of time of you being in this field?
Um, a lot. I mean, I got a lot of things I can say that. I mean, like AJ and Clifford Taylor are two of my clients, but they really changed my whole business for me. I love them. They've been super loyal. Always genuine. They've brought in so many different opportunities and so much money. So they've been unbelievable people. So shout out to them. My team is amazing. Miji, Ruben, Andres, Cam, everybody that works for us now. Ruben is a superstar. Miji is a superstar. Andres is a superstar. So grateful for them. And I always tell them, I'm like, I don't want you guys. first of all, they're not getting paid what they could be paid probably somewhere else anyways, because we're still, technically a startup, at this point. But I'm like, I don't ever want you guys to work for me for the money. I know you can make money and do things like that, but I want you to work for me because you guys really believe in like what I'm doing and you believe in me. So I appreciate that. I think they do, and they definitely show it. So that's been great. And then I think just learning every single month and kind of setting a different standard for myself. I feel like this year was a big financial learning year for me. Like where I want to be, how much money I want to make, what kind of lifestyle I want to live. I also learned a lot that, health and fitness is everything and money doesn't mean shit. Really. I really do mean that. I always say that. My dad was in the hospital for 6 months. It was a whole thing. Joel, you kind of know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I remember messaging you when he got out.
Yeah. So like I learned a lot this year. I've had my own health concerns, so like I've learned that I want to live a lifestyle that is health and fitness focused first and business last, but I still want to be able to pay the bills and make good money and have fun. But that's really the truth. I think everybody should try to live that lifestyle because if you don't have you don't got shit. So
Respect that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, thank you for coming on, podcast. It's been great having you, bro.